Genesis, really meaning Hyundai, has a new electric car for sale. Everywhere. Pretty much. Sort of. In a way. Priced at $59,000 US. Should you buy one? Well, I've got a very strong opinion on that. I'm going to share it with you. Here is what I think about the new Genesis GV60 electric SUV. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back. Everyone else, thank you to our supporters on Patreon. Really appreciate what you do. Genesis has released pricing for the GV60 electric SUV coming to the United States and several other countries around the world. It starts at $58,900. Let's just call that $59,000 US. Comes with 248 miles of range. To give you some context, the current Tesla Model Y with all-wheel drive, 4680 battery cells, and 279 miles of range costs $1,000 US more. So which one should you consider buying? Or which one would I buy? Well, first of all, the Genesis GV60 is extremely important for Hyundai's luxury brand, since it's their first EV built on the EGMP platform, which means it will get better specs than a car that's built on a platform for internal combustion engine gas vehicles. So it's built on the same platform as the Hyundai Ioniq 5. In many ways, it's really just an Ioniq 5 sort of made to be a bit more luxurious. So maybe the real question then should be, should you buy an Ioniq 5 if you can get your hands on one, or should you buy the GV60? So what does this mean? Well, we already have approximate specifications for the GV60 because we know what the Ioniq 5's specs are, right? And they're pretty much the same, except the Ioniq 5 will come with a bigger 77.4 kilowatt hour battery pack. Bizarre, isn't it? The luxury version would have a smaller battery pack. Doesn't really make sense to me. Now, it would make sense if it was using different, more efficient battery cells. Let's say the Ioniq 5 was using like LFP batteries and the GV60 was using, right, 4680 cells. Now, that differentiation there might justify having a smaller battery pack in the GV60, but it doesn't. They're using exactly the same battery cells, identical. So, the main trims of this car, you've got the advanced and performance versions, with the main difference being the front motor being rated at 160 kilowatt in the performance version instead of 74 kilowatt in the advanced version. That's just the front motor, by the way. That's not total combined power. This is what Genesis said about the car. The 2023 Genesis GV60 Advanced All-Wheel Drive at a manufacturer's suggested retail price of $58,900 US includes class-leading standard equipment and technologies. At Genesis, safety is never an option. And GV60's advanced package includes the entire suite of available safety and advanced driver assistance systems. This package is comprehensively equipped with Face Connect, a 12.3-inch digital cluster and navigation system, vehicle-to-load charging, Bang & Olufsen premium audio, and more. There's one other thing that GV60 buyers will get. They get 3 years of 30-minute free charging from Electrify America. So I'm not exactly sure how that works. Like, do you just rock up at the charger, charge for 30 minutes for free, then drive away for 60 seconds, drive back and charge for another 30 minutes? I'm not sure how they're going to actually make that work. If you do know, let me know in the comment section below. Genesis, they also said it comes with a facial recognition system. Personally, I'm not a fan of these kinds of things. I think they're a bit invasive. But anyway, new technology, I guess, if you can turn it off, is fine. This is what they said. GV60 delivers world-first automotive technologies, including Face Connect, a system enabling drivers to unlock and lock their vehicle securely with facial recognition, and available Genesis Digital Key 2 with ultra-wideband UWB applicability. Now, my question is, can hackers hack into these systems and then see what you're doing? Or can the government see these systems? I don't want to be someone like sounds like they got a tinfoil hat on, but I just don't really see the advantage of having the car sort of watch what you're doing in order to open the car. It seems to me proximity key does exactly the same thing without you having to rely on a camera to see your face properly. Like, for example, with my iPhone, I put it up to my face. It often doesn't. I've got an iPhone 11. It often doesn't recognize my face because it's dark or some other reason, and I have to put in the code. So I'm not really convinced that that is really a reason you should want to buy this car. If anything, to me, I'd prefer to be able to just turn that off straight away. So here are the details of the GV60 all-wheel drive. Standard 74 kilowatt front motor, 160 kilowatt rear motor for a total of 314 horsepower or 234 kilowatt. Comes with a 77.4 kilowatt hour battery, 248 miles of range, which does seem fairly low considering the size of the battery. I would have thought they'd get more range based on that size of the battery. For example, I don't know this for sure, but I'm guessing that Tesla's new battery for their Model Y in the all-wheel drive version is probably about 60 kilowatt hour, and it's giving a 279 mile range. So yeah, the efficiency on this vehicle does seem a bit low to me, especially seeing as Hyundai usually has pretty good efficiency for their EVs. It comes standard with a heat pump and a battery heater, paddle shifter controlled regen system, electronic parking brake with auto hold, and a whole lot of other nice features there. And one of the things that comes with it, which is very similar to the Tesla Model Y or Tesla vehicles in general, is a Vision roof, which is essentially just a glass roof, but it does have a power shade. So it appears as though you can put a shade over that roof, which I think is a pretty good feature, actually. Bit of an advantage over Tesla's vehicles. Now, if you look through the list of standard features, it has a huge amount of standard features that I think make it pretty impressive value for money if you're into features. If you're into range, value for money is just not there. If you're into features, it's awesome. So it depends on what your priorities are. If you don't need a long range vehicle, this could be great. Now, there is a second variant. That's the performance all-wheel drive model. The difference here is it has more power, costs more money. It's $67,900, so it costs $9,000 more. For $9,000, you get a 160 kilowatt front motor and then a 160 kilowatt rear motor. So you got a total of 320 kilowatt of power. So you're getting about 90 kilowatt more power, which is a total of 429 horsepower and up to 483 horsepower in boost mode. It's going to be a pretty fast car. However, that does decrease the range. And I think it decreases the range to, frankly, an unacceptable level. For me, $69,000 for a vehicle with only 235 miles of range. Frankly, I wouldn't consider this. I wouldn't recommend anyone consider it. I just think for that price, $69,000 is too much for the limited range you're getting. The Ioniq 5, the faster, bigger battery version, is way better value than this car. It's not faster, it's got a bigger battery, better range, and it looks better. Frankly, you'd be crazy in my view to consider the performance version of this when the range is so low. That's my view on this anyway. What else do you get though on this performance version versus the standard version? You get electronically controlled suspension. You get an electronic limited slip diff, monoblock front brakes, Nappa leather seating surfaces, microfiber suede headliner and pillars, power cushion extension, bolster and ergo motion, heated rear seats, alloy pedals, 21-inch alloy wheels, and a Genesis digital key too. Personally, I don't think any of those things. I like the leather seats, but other than that, I think you're really just paying a lot of money to get a bit more power and then as a result, less range. For $9,000, it seems like it's pretty significantly overpriced. Now, let's be frank. If you're going to compare this, you'd have to be crazy not to compare this vehicle to other cars in its class. What have you got? Let's just keep this simple. Tesla Model Y, Ioniq 5, Hyundai Ioniq 5. Ioniq 5 is a premium car. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care that it's called a Hyundai. It doesn't matter. It's still a premium car. That's a fact. Facts are facts. Tesla Model Y, it's a premium car as well. I don't care what you think. But if you get in a BMW with an 8-speed transmission, you drive that for a year, you tell me that's more premium than driving around an electric car, you're mental. You're absolutely mental. It's not. The experience of driving a quality EV is way better than any internal combustion engine car. And I don't care if that's a Maybach. You're still driving around a petrol car. It still makes a loud noise. It still has to change gears. That whole experience is not as premium as an EV. That is a simple reality. So all these three cars, in my view, are premium vehicles. But the question is, who in their right mind would pay more for this vehicle, which looks uglier? I mean, it is not as good looking as an Ioniq 5, clearly, and has far less range. It doesn't make sense. I mean, I don't understand. Genesis, first EV you bring to market and is frankly underwhelming. Range is low. Appearance is not that good. And your so-called poverty brand, it's not a poverty brand, but that's the way they position it. Genesis, premium, Hyundai, poverty, whatever you want to say about that. Doesn't matter that LeBron James promotes the hell out of Kia and Hyundai. It still makes, the perception of it is still a budget brand, right? Ioniq 5 is not a budget car. In fact, it's a phenomenal car. Really good interior space. Phenomenal interior space. It's really, to be honest, if you bought the GV60 version, I could not possibly understand why you would do so when there's a way better car for less money available from Hyundai. Same goes for the Tesla Model Y. That's a far better car than this as well, based on the specs that we're seeing here. Now, the range is really good for, 5 or 6 years ago. Frankly, I don't know what's going on here with this car. It seems half-baked. So you might say, well, I don't need a long range. But the point is, you may not need it now, but why pay more money to get less range? That's what you're doing with this car. You're paying more money to get less range. Now, you can pay about the same amount of money to get a Tesla vehicle, Model Y, you get more range. You can pay less money to get an Ioniq 5, you get more range. This car just doesn't make sense. Now, the other car that you could also consider is the Kia EV6. That also is a very similar car to this, but once again, much better value for money. Now, some people are claiming the reason the range of this car is simply so low is for one reason. They're saying it's just the tires. Yeah, I'm sorry, my friends. Tires don't make a 20% difference to range. That is just, it would be the tires if the tires were like monster truck tires. It doesn't have monster truck tires. It doesn't have off-road tires. The tires will not make anywhere near enough difference. Yes, sure, if you put slick tires on the thing, it's going to get more range. But frankly, the tires on this vehicle are really pretty similar to the tires on the Ioniq 5 and on the Tesla Model Y. So that is not the difference. There's something else going on here with this vehicle that's making the range lower. Now, here is the acceleration data for there's 3 different models now. There'll actually be a 2-wheel drive model, which will be potentially cheaper again. Then there'll be an all-wheel drive model, then the all-wheel drive performance model. Now, in this review, I've only talked about the all-wheel drive and the all-wheel drive performance because they're the only 2 cars we currently have pricing for. However, the GV60 2-wheel drive model will have 0 to 62 or 0 to 100 km/h time of 7.3 seconds. The all-wheel drive model, 5.3 seconds, and the performance model does it in 4 seconds. So that's pretty damn fast. Nearly as fast as a Tesla Model Y performance. So what does that mean? Well, that means that the 2-wheel drive model will have not great acceleration, especially at this price point. In fact, probably the worst, some of the worst in class. The all-wheel drive model, very good acceleration. The performance all-wheel drive, excellent acceleration. But considering the range of the car, I'm not sure you'd want to be accelerating fast in it too many times. You might drain that battery a bit too quickly. However, that said, this performance time of this all-wheel drive performance model makes it probably faster than about 98% of other cars on the market, period. I mean, if you're going to compare this car, right, to an internal combustion engine car, performance of 0 to 62 miles an hour for a car this size, well, you need to get something like a Mercedes, a mid-sized SUV, the AMG version. And they cost, well, a fair bit more than this. So if you think about it, the performance versions of these cars are actually pretty good value for money. Now, the other car you could also consider is the Mustang Mach-E. In particular, the California Route 1, which has more than 300 miles of range. That's definitely a car I personally would prefer over this. But personally, I would take the Ioniq 5, Tesla Model Y, or the Mustang Mach-E, or the Kia EV6 all over this car. Now, that's just my personal opinion. I want to know what you think in the comment section below. Would you take this, or would you prefer one of those 4 vehicles. Let me know which one you think. Let's just like have a little vote on this. Comment below which one of those vehicles you would take or which one you've already bought. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again on the next one. Bye-bye.